see. Yeah. It's snowing. All right, so I looked into replacement parts for that pump because it's a rebrand. It's near impossible to find them. So I might be out of luck on that one, unfortunately. Unless I can think of some way of rigging it, but I'm not sure how much I would trust anything I do to it. So I'm going to table that one. So I'll leave the pit just the way it is. I threw the lid back on and it's fine like that for now. I know it's a deep enough well. That's good. So really happy about that. And now I'm going to go ahead and press on to something else. And I'm just going to finish the electrical. We're so close. I'm almost ready to call inspection. Let's just get this over with. So here goes nothing. Let's get it done. So I'm going to hop into this bathroom here. This is basically the last room that is unlit, well, with exception, I suppose, to the cold storage in the basement. But I'm going to throw a sconce light in. I'm going to throw it in a little higher. I find it a little bit annoying when you throw one of these sconce lights in and the bulbs drape over top of the mirror. So I like it just a little higher up, so I'm going to do that. Yeah, so we got the lights, we got a wire in the fan, it's all right here. I've already got power running, so I can run directly off this. I'm not going to worry about an outlet in here unless, I'll ask Xana, see if she says otherwise. It's probably just going to be a pedestal sink. If we do run an outlet though, it's not going to be off this. I'm going to have to take a line from the other bathroom. So per code, the bathroom outlets have to be on their own. They can't be connected to any other rooms. So rather than running an entirely new circuit, I've only got 2 plugs in the other bathroom, and I'm allowed to run from there to this bathroom. That will meet code. I might do that right now just because, yeah, get it all done, I guess. So yeah, we got those lines to run, and I got to expand this. I only cut in a single gang. We want a 2 gang just because there is a fan going in. So let's get this done and over with. So as I was moving that bag of insulation out, a partial roll of toilet paper fell in. I took it out, shook it off, and then I thought for a second, it might just be gone. So if you would have done otherwise, let me know, but I think I made the right decision. I let it go with the insulation. Sweet. I can reach the hole. I don't have to fish the line. Alright, so I've pulled out the fan. I got one so far. I think I still need another. Here's the trim for it. So I'm going to go ahead and install this, and I can rough in the other at least for right now. Just get the opening cut out. And I've also got the roof vents. So I'm going to be cutting both of these in probably tomorrow. I do have to pick up some duct for this, but that's not a big deal. So I'll be able to get those fans in pretty much right away, and that'll be nice. Another thing off the list, so let's get this cut out. So once again, there's not a whole lot you could do in a bathroom this small. But you don't want to have the fan positioned where you're going to be stationary. But basically you can have it positioned stationary over the toilet or stationary over the sink. That's the size of the bathroom. So I chose stationary over the sink since this is likely going to be on while somebody is sitting on the toilet and you don't want the breeze. So this will work well enough. So if you're wondering about the markings, so yeah, I mark all the wires, and yeah, I have to strip it off in the end, but I already know that I'm always going to have the light towards the door, the entry, and the fan's going to be away. So this is one example of how I sort of organize things as I go. So as I strip it down, I place the cords in the direction or the placement they should be, and I'm very careful to leave them there. And now if I do happen to make a mistake and place them in the wrong location, it's not a big deal. I'll notice it soon enough and I can just switch it back. But the critical thing is knowing which ones are the hot lines going in and, you know, hot lines going out. And I take care of those before I take care of any of the switches. So that's sort of how I organize the lines. So just to clarify that, I think it's come up in a comment before, how do you keep track of it? It's really kind of just the order of how I deal with the lines. As long as I deal with them in a certain order, I don't really lose track of what I'm dealing with. The one thing I screw up the most, they actually mark on and off on a 2-pole line. The three-way switches, it doesn't really matter. Well, it does, but we can get into that afterwards. But it seems to be the most common mistake I make is accidentally placing them upside down. So when he finished this, you always want it so the up direction is on. So I think I got one in the basement that I still got to switch because I didn't check that before installing them. Once again, you know, it's not really the end of the world. It's mostly an aesthetic thing. It has nothing to do with function. But if you're doing the job, it's nice to just get it all done right, nice and uniform the first time. And certainly before my wife notices and wonders why something is different from the rest of the house a year down the line. I always kind of position them for taping. Taping can be really awkward because you got all this stuff to work around, so I try to keep everything pulled away. And yes, I'm a believer in taping. I think it's just a really good practice. And a project like this where, you know, I'm definitely in control of it, and part of that is I'm liable for it. So, you know, anything happens to this place, it's all on me. I'm the only person who's been working on it so far. I think the only thing that has been outsourced so far was hooking up the main line for the electricity, and I'm not allowed to touch that anyway, so that's that. Where did I leave that knife? Another good practice when you are taping, just take it a little bit past. What you really want to make sure of is that any copper is covered, and sometimes your stripped wire exceeds the box a little bit. It really shouldn't, but not a big deal if it does. Just cover that over. But that's where you get most contact, seems to be right there, just because it is exposed. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and hook up the fan right now. One of the benefits, I didn't staple it yet. I did that on purpose, so I'm going to pull the wire back. I'm actually going to do it from right here and drop it in place. And then I got to screw it up against the truss that's right there. So I'm going to pull that wire back. We'll get it wired in, and then we're going to drop our box. And there it is. So I just got to flush it up to the drywall, screw it down, and that is wired in. Then I just gotta add the duct and the roof vent. We officially have a bathroom vent. So to get this set, it's a little bit of a pain because obviously I can't see down here and I have to screw it from up top. I had that in reverse. I can't see it from up top and I have to screw it from up there. So I'm going to set a little control here. Hope I don't get in the way of the camera too much. I get a little board here. And because it's going against a joist, I can screw it right here. This will be under the trim that's going to be covering all this. And it's going to hold it flush with the drywall. So oh, that's beautiful. That's exactly right. And before I take that board down, I'm going to throw some drywall screws in here and here just to get this tacked up. There are no screws in the middle for some reason. I don't get it, but whatever. I can't stand tight spaces. That was awful. Oh my goodness. Well, I'm glad I emptied out that cavity before I went in, because that insulation would have been horrible to work around. There's not much clearance there. So, let's throw some drywall screws in. We're going to take that brace off. And I don't have a box for the light. I'm just going to hang the receptacle for the time being. I'll grab a receptacle, or I'll grab a box later. Yeah, I got a bunch of stuff I got to pick up anyway, so I'll start a running list. So let's get this done. It's getting late, getting tired, getting dopey. There we go. Because this is all getting reworked, I'm not going to cut this off. I'm going to leave my markings. And I'm just going to pull off what I absolutely must. There we go. Doesn't look quite as nice and organized as it was before. But that should liven up the line, and let's see what's going on. Nice. So I'm going to try the fan. All it's going to do is blow some crappy air up top, but let's see. Yeah. It's snowing. Alright, well, I won't run that until I get the rest of it done. But we have function in the bathroom, and that's pretty nice. I still have to do that box, of course, but that's not a big deal. That'll get done in time. And like I said, I got a bunch of odds and ends, you know, I got to pick up. I don't mind having a running list. I don't like making short trips to the hardware store. It's really annoying. So letting things build up like that, not a big deal. What is a big deal is, you know, leaving for one little piece and coming back. You know, it takes more than an hour out of your day. It also takes away your focus. So I'd rather just keep going. I'll let it dangle like that. As long as I get it done prior to my inspection, not a big deal. So I think I'm going to run that outlet to the bathroom, and that'll finish that, and that's the entire main floor. So after that, I just got to run a little bit of electrical to the garage and then the laundry room, and then we're ready for inspection.